Hello everyone and welcome to Modernizing Old Hymns number 8. Last time on MOH number 7, we combined the melody and the chord on our instruments using our 2-chord version of I Am Trusting Thee, Lord Jesus. This time we're going to do the same thing, except we'll be using a finger pick instead, a 3-finger pick. Now, a couple things I want you to do is I want you to hold the chords down all the time through this lesson. I'm in standard tuning, 3 fingers for the G chord, and for the D7th chord, our 2 chords. And try to hold those down as much as you can through this whole thing. And you might be thinking, if I'm not actually playing the string, I don't have to hold it down. You're right, but humor me. I think you'll see what I'm trying to get at here. Now, I've already showed you a 2-finger pattern, playing the melody with your index finger, and then play the string just below that one to make a counter melody. Okay, today I want you to use 2 different fingers. It'll sound the same, but play the melody with your middle finger and the counter melody with your index finger. First, let's look at the music. Now, this is our easy version of the song where we try to change chords, just 1 chord per measure. Again, just because I think it sounds nifty, I put 1 quick chord change in here, D7th, G, D7th. The problems we've got is here on note 14, we've got an A note we need to work into the G chord, also note 33. Note 24, we have a C note we need to work into the G chord. And for those of you who don't like the quick chord change, you could just try the same thing on note 64. Just skip the D7th and work the C note in on the G chord. And here's a problem for us guitar players. Okay, with your fingering on the G chord, it jumps from a B up to a G, and it skips the D. Those of you who are playing different instruments, you may be playing that D already on a G chord. May not be a problem for you, but for us guitar players, we've got to find a way to work that in. So, just like last time, here's what we're going to do. We've got our G7th chord here, and our index finger is free, so we're going to find 3rd string, 2nd fret, and I'm playing this with my middle finger here. Going from the A to the G. Okay, you may want to run through these things a few times before you actually try to play the song. The same thing is going to happen with the C. Okay, 2nd string, 1st fret. Taking my index finger off and on here. Okay, now to work the D in, we're going to just take our little finger and move it over 1 string. G, B. Or you can just lift up that little finger on the 2nd string there. There's our D, B, D. So let's work it in here. I'm on note 11. I played the melody note with my middle finger. There's the counter melody with my index finger. Okay, 12 will sound the same. 13. Now play the A with your index finger. There's our counter melody, the note below that. Okay. Okay. Now the note 22, the D, move your little finger over. Catch the C with your index finger. Okay. A again with the index finger. Now move your fingers of the left hand to the D7th chord position. Okay, now let's look at that second line. The second line, we've got to fit in an E on the G chord. Also an F sharp. 53 and 55 notes are both F sharps. So let's come up with a way of working those in. So we've got a bit of a run here. We start with the D, note 51. Starts with the D, E, that's 4th string 2nd fret, and then 4th string 4th fret. Okay, now with the full chord, work that in, we can play the E with our index finger. I'm still holding down those two other strings of the G. Okay, I recommend for the easy version that on that last F sharp, don't play a counter melody. It sounds kind of sour, right? So starting on the second line, quick change to the D7th chord, quick change back to the G chord, then back to the D7th. Now we're going to work in our thumb as a third finger here. The middle finger is still going to play that melody note. Okay, the first note is 2nd string there. And we'll add the bass note with our thumb. What we'll do is pinch at the same time. I'm going to pinch once at the beginning of every measure. Okay, the other two fingers will be the same as last time. So let's run through it. Start with the pinch on 11. Strings 2 and 6 should sound like that. Okay. A with the index finger. Pinch on 21. Pinch on 31. Move your left hand to the D7th chord position and pinch the 2 middle strings. And one thing you want to take note of, not to use a pun, on the last note I played there, the 4th string did double duty. Okay, the D open 4th string is the bass note of the D7th chord. So we want to play that and pinch it with the melody note, which is the A. Okay, and it's also our counter melody. So that 4th string is doing double duty there. Pinch, and it's also the counter melody there. Now let me start at note 41 again, those two middle strings. Pinch. There's our run. 55 by itself, and move to the D7th chord and pinch. Counter melody. G chord, pinch. Back to the D7th chord. And pinch. And I ended on the bass note there. Just hit that with the thumb. Okay, I did a lot of talking through that. Let me play through it without any interruption here. Now let's go to our intermediate version of the song where we tried to change chords every other beat. There's really only one significant difference here. We've got to go to a D7th chord right here. Okay, again, on the guitar, there's a problem. It jumps from the C up to an F sharp, the D7th chord does, and it skips that D. So we've got to come up with some way of adding that D note to the D7th chord. Okay, so we've got our 3-finger D7th chord. Our little finger is free. So we can catch that D. That's 2nd string, 3rd fret. The next note is actually a C, so if you just lift that finger off, you'll get to it. One thing I'm going to do too this time, since it's an intermediate version, is I'm going to pinch every other beat. So that measure is going to sound like, starting with a pinch, go to the D7th chord, pinch again, let's start it from the beginning, pitching every other beat. Pinch on 13 as well. Pinch to the D7th chord and pinch. Lift that little finger up. Pinch again on 31. Pinch again with your index finger on the A. To the D7th chord and pinch. The rest will be pretty much the same. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Pinch again on 72. And the last one. Yeah, I did a lot of talking there. I'll run through it again without interruption. Let's go to our advanced version where we try to change chords as much as possible on every beat. Well, let me point out a couple of easy things first of all. For guitar players, this D7th here and here. The A note, whether you play it on a D7th chord or a G chord is going to be a D. It makes no difference. If you're a guitar player, you can skip this D7th and this D7th. For somebody like an auto harp player, you're going to have to play that D7th. Another thing too is if we play the D7th here on note 55, we can work in a counter melody note this time. We won't have to play it by itself. Let me show you how to do that. Well, we'll cheat a little bit. It's possible to make that reach from the D7th chord all the way over to the F, but we'll cheat a little bit. We'll just play, we're not playing any of the higher strings anyway, so we'll just play that F sharp, and the open 5th string will be our counter melody. So that measure sounds like. Try that again. Okay, now one thing too is it's possible to pinch on every beat, but yeah, it's starting to sound more like a march, isn't it? That's not what we're trying to play here. So for this song, even though it's an advanced version, I'm going to go back to just pinching at the beginning of every measure, except for that one quick chord change. Okay, start with a pinch. Pinch. D7th chord. Pinch. Those two middle strings. Pinch. There's our counter melody note there. Pinch, pinch. Now for those of you who are playing instruments with fewer strings than a guitar, it's still possible to use this 3-finger technique on your instrument. The first thing you want to do is make sure you have a high melody arrangement, as I showed in a previous lesson. Try to get that melody on the top string as much as possible. I'm pinching there. Pinch on the G again. Now here I have to go to a D7th chord. You'll have to find what that D7th chord is on your instrument. I've got a D, D, A is the melody note. Yep, you can. It'll help you if you remember that the D string is made up of the notes. The D chord is made up of the notes D, F sharp, and A. Find those on your instrument somewhere and work them in close to the melody note. Or try it by ear. Okay, back to G chord. And a D7th chord again. D7th. Now, this is such a basic, this 3-finger pick is such a basic pick. This is one you really want to get down well, because I'm bound to use it again in the future in this course. It does have a pretty nice sound to it, doesn't it? So next time we'll do I Am Trusting Thee, Lord Jesus. One more time. Okay, we're going to work in a 3rd chord this time. I'll show you which chord to pick, and you can find it playing by ear, or being a little more scientific about it using some music theory. It'll be fun, so stay tuned, and thank you for watching this time.